Hi, everybody. It's Melinda from Women Who Rock, and we're coming at you during March, which is Women's History Month. And I am so excited to chat more today with this powerhouse in the music industry, Ellen from Perryscope Productions. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hi, it's so great to be here. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to talk about, music and merch and all of the wonderful things that we're doing at Perryscope.
Wonderful. Well, to kick us off, can you tell us more about your role at Perryscope? And you have a really long career in the live events and music industry. Tell us a little bit about your background too.
I do. Well, I'm the director of e-commerce and special projects at Perryscope, and I have been in this role in one way or another for 10 years in November. And prior to that, I toured with bands and shows. I ran a USO tour. I toured with Cirque du Soleil. I toured with the Rascals. I toured with AC/DC. I did like electronic shows. I've done theater. I just spent basically all of my 20s traveling all over the world, which was just the best experience. I've gotten to go to 90 countries and six
Wow.
continents, just having a wonderful time. It really was, for me, the best way to just see everything before I was like, okay, I just want to have my own bed and like a home and do all of that stuff. I kind of raised my hand, and Norman Perry, who owns Perryscope, I've been working with him almost my entire career. And he's always, given me a job when I didn't have a gig. It's very giggy out here. Tours can be 4 months long, tours can be 2 years long. So you're always kind of going, what am I going to do next?
Right.
And I haven't done that in 10 years, which is really nice. It's part of the relaxing part of being on the office end of everything. But at Periscope, today I run our D2C stores, I run our Amazon business, I run our small wholesale business, and I work with licensees to either become licensees, to guide them in what they can make. I kind of do that on a smaller scale. And then, of course, we work with them so that the official stores for our artists are the best place
Hmm.
for every band to go for music or clothes or coffee mugs or hats or anything else. I want you to be able to find it with us, and we want that to be great product that you'll have forever.
And you all work with some of the most iconic artists in the music business. What role specifically does Periscope play in helping to really preserve so many of these legacies?
Well, we do work with a lot of legacy artists, and one of the best parts of that is working with people's families to really highlight their lives in the best way possible and to carry on what their life meant to them. So I think with all of our artists, everyone had a very strong passion. I think you look at Olivia Newton-John, and
Yeah.
we all know her from Greece, but I think later in life, because she had breast cancer, it became a passionate position of for her.
Right.
But they all did that. They all had something that they pushed for. Whitney Houston really, really supported the education of women. She, has had schools in Africa that she funded, and we're still working on those things today. It's really carrying those things on and making sure that the next generation knows who these women are,
Right.
recognizes where they see and hear them that they might not know that they're there, and that's why that's there. The music that they're listening to today is influenced by these women. And
Absolutely.
the creative juices that are going are they're generations long, and you can see that in their families as well. I don't think any of our female artists come from a family that isn't full of very talented people. So it really is just passionately trying to keep them in the forefront and to make sure that their legacy is honored as they saw it, and that their art is preserved and is visible everywhere.
I love what you said about really also having the next generation of artists knowing their roots and knowing where they come from. When I speak to artists all the time, I always let them know you can't know where you're going until you know where you came from. And studying, past artists and what they've done to break records and trailblaze and the music that they've created, I mean, it shapes all of us. So such important work that you're doing. Of course, we're women who rock, and we love to support women in music and amplify women's voices. You have a very large roster of artists, but I want to focus in on celebrating the female trailblazers that you work with. And why is it important to keep celebrating them, especially when we're connecting during Women's History Month?
I think it's really important because the lessons that they can teach us are just as important as the music that they gave to us.
Mm,
I think that it's really beautiful that we're seeing like lots of biopics about these women.
right.
Whitney Houston's, Aretha Franklin's biopics. I think that it was just a beautiful way for people to connect with them. And it's really looking at everything that they accomplished, even when they were facing odds that were stacked against them. I think
Right.
that it's easy for us today to forget the position of women, even like I was born in 1983. The role of women in this industry and beyond is completely different
So
than
true.
2 years ago.
Mhm.
And it was even more different for them. Biases, prejudices, being excluded from things. I think like one of the very cool things that you do at Women Who Rock is really to uplift women in this industry and to really focus on them. I always kind of relate it to women's sports. And I'm
Yeah,
like, you watch it all the time, you know it, you'll enjoy it.
right.
And I think that, the women on our roster are just really shining examples of just absolute excellence. Aretha Franklin, I've been a fan of her for my entire life. There's no way I can hear respect without dancing to it.
So true.
And it's just
Yeah.
the value that you put on someone making you happy and making you dance, even when you're stressed or politics or anything in the world.
Yeah.
We could stay here all day talking
Yeah.
about the things that we're all worried about and the challenges that we're all facing and just trying to be good people and trying to move forward and trying to deliver that joy through everything that you have to get through just to publish a song
Mhm.
in the music industry, just to have a hit song in the music industry, the accomplishments that these women, have done for all of us. I watched the Grammys and it was just all women and
Oh,
it made me
women,
feel
they dominated.
it was the best. It
Yeah.
was so fantastic. And I know that other women in the industry felt the same way by looking at that and going, we're here and we are not going anywhere. And I think that these women really set us up for that. They set us up for every second of it. They do it in their legacy as well. I think that the females working on these legacies that I work with at management, on label levels, directly with their families, it's really women standing next to each other and going, we're going to remember them. We're going to hold up the work that they did and say, the joy is here, it stays, and we can do anything. Because that's how, when you listen to their music, that's all of their messaging is love and happiness and perseverance and, getting it done.
Love that. And that's what women do best. We get it done.
Exactly.
You really do. I mean, when we talk about the iconic women in music, you are working with them. Janis Joplin, you mentioned some already, but Whitney Houston, Janis Joplin, Olivia Newton-John, Etta James. Is there one project or initiative that Perryscope has worked on that celebrates specifically the legacy of one of these artists that really has resonated and connected with you?
Well, I'm a big Whitney fan. I'm actually wearing a
Love
Whitney
it.
shirt
Uh-huh.
today. And last year, her family and Sony and Perryscope all worked together and we released her South Africa performance.
Ah,
in Durban, and this took place right after the end of apartheid. She went to Africa. Her family went with her as
Mm,
well. Many of them are still with us to share with us what that experience was like. And it's really amazing. And when you watch that performance, you really see how much she loved what she did and she loved her fans and she loved Africa and she that moment in time to be there and to experience it, I think very few people got to. I think it was just one of those beautiful moments in life and in history where we're progressing towards, you know, equality and fairness and all of that. And it's just a beautiful reminder to me that she was part of that fight. All of the women on this roster
mm.
were part of the fight
Yeah,
and are part of that fight. And I think all women every day are part of that fight. I don't think that there's a woman in the world who wouldn't agree that every generation is just getting better and better. And it's getting, I know it seems scary sometimes, but
yeah,
we're getting there.
we
It's
are.
it's all getting better. I'm sitting here talking about Whitney Houston and Tina Turner and Aretha Franklin and Janis Joplin and all of these women who during their lives like had people, and unfortunately it's like still happening today,
Sure.
like put down or judged
Mm,
or, not held up the way that they should have been, the way that everyone should be. I really think that that moment and her performance in South Africa is one of those moments for me. And I hope we did it justice for everyone. I hope that people love it. I hope that they remember it. I hope that they relate to it in
yeah.
some way. I think that you can relate to all of the women on our roster. Everyone struggles with something, and to see their strength and their perseverance and their creativeness and success during all of that is just fantastic. And that show in Durban, like I cry during while I watch it because it's beautiful. Like
Yeah.
she was a wonderful woman, super kind, and that's just genuinely a performance where she really like connects with people like that.
I'm sure it
I'm
inspires
like getting
you.
choked up.
I
I'm
know.
sorry. I
Oh, no.
really love it's like it's a beautiful moment in human
Yeah.
history
Yeah.
and her standing there
Mhm.
was is just gorgeous to me.
If you had the chance to ask a question to any of these legendary women in music, what would it be?
I mean, in my role, I would really say, am I doing a good job?
Oh,
But do you like it? And what do you want? What do you want next? What would you like people to see and hear? And how do you want this to be remembered?
right.
I always think about like Dolly Parton
Mhm.
and and Dolly World
Yeah.
in that. I'm like, would one of them want that? I don't know. Um, so I think things like that, and I'd love to know all their secrets.
Oh,
I'd
yeah.
Yeah, but I'd love for them to tell me what they think of our work and what they want next.
So fantastic. And you just must be so proud that you can and grateful that you can wake up every single day and you are having a direct influence and continuing their legacy on. That just must be an incredible feeling.
It's awesome. Every day when I go to work, it is an opportunity to really make a difference, to introduce someone to this music. My nieces and nephews are just A, covered in merch, and
Oh,
B, they know everyone. They know
yeah.
all of them. They know a Whitney song when they hear it. They know a Tina song when they hear it. They know Janice. They grew up listening to these women and, playing this music to anyone is, I think, just important just to introduce it. If you do anything, you know, ask someone if they've ever heard these women. And if they haven't, pick a song, pick an album,
Yeah.
sit them down and have them listen to it. And I do that all the time.
Mhm. I had a chance to see one of the women that we're talking about live in concert, and I'll tell you who that is after. I want to know if you had a chance to see any of them live and in person.
I never got to see any of them. I got to meet Aretha Franklin,
Oh, wow.
and I was with my parents, and this is one of my mother's favorite stories. My mother had a pen that looked like a Mont Blanc pen, but was
Okay.
not a Mont Blanc pen. And Aretha Franklin signed a piece of paper for her. And we were chatting, and she was like, I really like this pen. And my mom goes, oh, you can have it. And Aretha Franklin walked off with the pen. And my mom was like, I gave Aretha Franklin a pen. I hope she didn't mind that it wasn't like a real mom pen. But that's definitely one of those things. But I never got to see any of them. And like it actually makes me go see people so much more now. Any artist that I am even slightly a fan of and they come to town or I have the opportunity to go, I'm there. I'm definitely there. And I see them every day because
Yeah.
I listen to them probably every day, every other day. It's all their music all the time, basically.
Well, I got to see Tina. I was, I think, 16 years old. Yeah,
Amazing.
I saw her in Pittsburgh, and I will never forget it.
No, you
No,
can't.
no.
Well, I watching her performances, I'm like the energy.
Yeah, it's
The
incredible.
energy. It's incredible. It's incredible. And you see her in artists today. Like
Mhm.
I see her Beyonce all the
Oh,
time.
absolutely.
And it's definitely, just she's stunning. Just so stunning and so strong and just such a talented woman. It's really like it's heartbreaking that you got to see her and I didn't get to see her. I'm like, oh, so jealous. But I love that they all have like the show they're known for, the performance that they're known for, like these really amazing moments that I think everyone has in their head.
Mhm.
Like, I have Tina Turner in my head singing Proud Mary.
Right.
If the projector from my brain, I
Huh?
know exactly what it would look like. So for me, that's just like very cool. Very, very cool.
Well, fans, of course, play a huge role in keeping these artists' legacies alive. How do you serve fans while you're also, serving the legacy of the artists?
We really try to make sure that there's something for everyone.
Hmm.
So we try to make sure that there's accessible product. We try to make sure that there's a variety of product and really try to focus on fan favorites.
Okay.
So, for example, I think So Emotional is such a wonderful song. And I, as a Whitney fan, love that song.
Yeah.
So I made a So Emotional hat and I wear it all the
Nice.
time.
Uh-huh.
It says So Emotional on the front. It is so funny. It just tells people where you're at
Yeah.
before they even talk to you.
Such a great
Um,
idea.
I made this really beautiful respect necklace for Aretha. And it's not like the fanciest thing in the world, but it's something that you can remember and you
Right.
can wear and it can, you can put it on and feel strong about it and remember, what she said and remember that you deserve it,
That's right.
and demand it. So for me, it's that kind of stuff. It's going, what inspires me about these women? What inspires other women about these women? And how do I get that to them? And also just how do you take the joy of a song and put
Yeah.
it on a t-shirt?
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
and it's super challenging, but it should all go along with the music, and that's what we try to do. And we try to celebrate every anniversary, every re-release that a label does. We're there with them every time we have the opportunity to allow other talented artists to make things because licensing is a big part of our business. So we have hundreds of licensees all over the world who make clothes or toys or games of these women. There are some great Funkos of Whitney Houston, and I'm talking about so much Whitney, but I am a big fan. And just a couple weeks ago, the family is doing symphony shows.
Oh, wow.
So Pop of Color, which is an all people of color symphony group in New York City that just started, premiered at the Whitney Houston Symphonic event. And they played all of her songs with her singing and
Beautiful.
like beautiful videos going in the back. And it was electric. It was so fantastic. Choir like schools came in and sang along with her. It was just really beautiful. And it's stuff like that. How do we connect with them? And we put together a bunch of merch for that show. And it was great to see young people, older people, everyone from every
Connects
generation go,
everybody.
yeah, going, oh
Yeah.
my God, I love that.
Mhm.
Going, I'm every woman. I
That's
want that. And
great.
I want to wear it. And I want someone else to see it and remember,
Yeah.
like, this is it. And I think that's one of the wonderful thing about all of these women is that they were very like, let's go. Let's
Yeah.
go, girl. We can do it. I can do it. We can do it together. And they gave it everything. Everything.
Everything. How can fans that are watching connect with your work, and how can they stay up to date on all of the great future initiatives and projects that I know you'll continue to launch?
They should take a look at perryscope.us and go to the official store or the official website of any of our artists. Go to these ladies' websites, web stores, sign up for their email lists. We send things out. We all work together on them to really make sure that we're lifting them up and making sure that every moment is celebrated, that, you are listening to the tunes that they left us. But you can sign up and we'll get you info on everything and pre-order launches and exclusives and all of that.
Well, fantastic. Ellen, thank you so much for connecting with us at Women Who Rock, and we can't wait to chat with you again soon.
You too. Thank you so much. I
Yes.
hope you have a great day. And I'm really looking forward to working with you guys more and, putting together some fun things for Women Who Rock.
Awesome.